Evening, everybody. Tonight we are already on episode 5 and we are going to talk about Martha. My name is Anja Meyer, and for over the past few days, we've journeyed through life's incredible women, from the Bible along the side remarkable women of today. Today we meet someone many of us can relate to. Her name is Martha. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, if you've ever carried everyone's needs on your shoulders, if you ever believed your worth depended on how much you could accomplish, then today's story is for you. Martha was known as the woman who served. When Jesus came to her home, she immediately began to prepare everything. She wanted everything to be perfect. Meanwhile, her sister Mary sat at Jesus' feet, simply listening. Martha became frustrated. She was working, Mary wasn't. So she asked Jesus, Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do everything by myself? But Jesus answered with incredible gentleness, Martha, Martha, you are worried and upset about many things, but only one thing is needed. Jesus wasn't correcting her heart for serving. He was reminding her that his presence mattered more than her performance. Later, when her brother Lazarus died, Martha showed another side of herself. Even her grief, she declared one of the greatest statements of faith in Scripture. Yes, Lord, I believe you are the Messiah. Martha teaches us something powerful. Serving is beautiful. Working hard is honorable. But we must never become so busy doing for Jesus that we stop spending time with Jesus. One decision to choose his presence changes everything. Today I'm honored to introduce to you our one decision woman, Wanda. Like Martha, Wanda understands what it means to carry many responsibilities, to care deeply for others, and to learn that true strength also includes knowing when to rest. Wanda, thank you for joining us today.
A
Hi,
pleasure, and thank you for inviting me.
you are so welcome. Wanda, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Wanda?
Currently, I'm a wife, first off, and secondly, I'm one of a management team at work, top level management, where I have to guide people on the one side, but also perform on the other side. So that's a little bit of a dual role. I am a stepmom to two beautiful sons. And because of that, I'm a granny to four children. And they are absolutely the love of my heart. Yeah, so, and then I have a niece. So in my life, I actually consider them as five grandchildren or five at the same age. And yeah, that's my life. In between that, I take care of my mom financially. She's very, very far from me, but very dependent on me. And that is okay. That's fine. My husband is retired. So yeah, he's also codependent on me. Again, that is fine. I do it with love. I serve with love. Yeah, and that is me in a nutshell.
Thank you. What fills your days?
Work 24/7. Yeah, so I start my day with God. Then I start work 9 to 5, like everybody else. Get home around 6 or 7, depends on traffic. Um, have a quick break with my family, and then I start on my digital business. Once I've done what I need to do and have to do and enjoy doing, that's the part of life I really, really enjoy. Then I get back into it, put in another hour or 2 or 3, and then pass out, do the same thing tomorrow. So that is how I call my days. Yes.
And how do you fill your cup?
You know what? I found the most beautiful communities inside the digital world. Strong women, strong men and women who absolutely pours their love into their community, into their people. And consciously or unconsciously, I started feeding off that love and that energy that is put out. And it has motivated me to a place where I can really, really say I'm blessed with people in my life that really fills my life. And really, for the first time in a very long time as well, I am now at a stage where I also really enjoy the time that I spend with my family. You know, it was always like, oh, I can't do this now because I have to work and you're taking my time and da da da. Whereas now I actually got to a place where I can actually really switch off and be present in the moment with my husband, with my grandkids, with my family in the moment, you know. And that has become very, very sacred to me and very important to me over the last year or two. That was a quite a radical shift, but one that I appreciate and love and not gonna give up for anything. You know yourself, I now have date nights with my husband, even if we just stay at home, I have a date night, which I never used to have in the past. And yeah, I'm very selfish on that. But it just fills me up to the next level.
It is beautiful to hear that you still have date nights with your
Yes,
husband.
we do.
When people meet you, Wanda, what do they usually notice first?
That one I don't really know. Um, the feedback that I've received, let me put it that way. The feedback I've received is that I am knowledgeable, that I do portray confidence. So that I think that is the first impression I do get. I have had people, and I never can understand that when they tell me that the first impressions are they are intimidated by me. But I think it's just a little bit because I am very excited and passionate about whatever I tackle. So if you come to me with a business problem and I know the answer, I'm so excited to have the answer. I'm going to share it with you with all the enthusiasm inside of me. That is just the person I am. And you know, for somebody who's not knowledgeable in that specific field or in marketing or whatever it may be, they'll go like, ugh. Okay, but it's just my excitement. It's a little bit overwhelming, I think. Um, so yeah, I'm always surprised when people say that to me, but that is kind of the feedback that I have received in the past, and something that I worked very hard on to be more open in my presence to people, you know, that they can feel safe in my presence from the start, not 5 months afterwards when they actually get to know me, but from the start.
The weight you carried. Many women wear multiple hats, as you've just said. You're an employee, you're a mother, you're a grandmother, you're a wife, you're a business owner, you're a friend, you're a carer, you look after your mom. What did life look like when you were trying to carry everything?
Daunting, very daunting, overwhelming. Um, and there were twice in my life that I spiraled very badly into a very bad pit of despair. Um, because sometimes the voices in your head become so loud and so overwhelming that you really feel like you're drowning with your hand out stretched out and there's nobody on the other side. You know, it's like almost like you don't know which way to turn. You really are in despair. And getting out of that dark pit is not easy. It really is not easy. But I clawed my way back with a lot of love from God, and a real lot of pushing and shoving. I came back, even better than before. And I'm not saying this to be like put a chip on my shoulder. That's not what I mean. I just mean that my relationship with God and my relationship with my husband and my relationship with my family members has grown to such a great extent that it's almost like a 180-degree turnaround. Really it is. And there were times when I was down on my knees and go like, why me? Why this? How am I going to do this? How am I going to battle my way out of this? And there were a lot of telephone conversations with a lot of people, like creditors, clients, referrers, people in your world, that your business world that you have to work with. And everybody has something else that they add and they add and they add and they add and they add. And when you step back and you look at all the dots, you see a solid line. But when you're in that space, you don't see that line. You can only see it when you look back. Um, and that to me was amazing. That was really amazing to pull through those dark despair, helplessness, fear. Fear is a great enemy. I was afraid. I was afraid of everything and everybody. Literally, sometimes when my phone would ring, I would go like, I can't deal with this. I honestly can't deal with this, and that was hard to work through, really hard.
Sure. Did you ever feel like if you stop, everything will just fall apart?
Yes, I did. Because, and again, it circles back to the fear.
Mm-hmm.
If I walk away now, what is going to happen? Where is it going to leave my husband? Where is it going to leave my mom? Where is it going to leave my grandchildren? Um, and again, I'm not saying this to discard anybody. The grandchildren wasn't as big a factor because they have their parents to look after them. Um, but emotionally, where would that leave them? What scars is this going to impact on this younger generation who is still so open and so vulnerable and so believe in everything that they can achieve?
Mm-hmm.
Why would I be the one to show them it's not true? How can I put that on them? How can I put that responsibility on them? How can I put that burden on them? So yes, that was a big factor. And also, as I say, what would happen to my husband? What would happen to my mom? Who's going to take care of them? Who's going to be there in the day-to-day things? Not that I'm saying I'm perfect and I do everything perfectly. Don't get me wrong, not at all. I'm doing the best I can in the circumstances I am. But you become codependent, and I'm not just talking financially, emotionally, I've so many times said to God, I said to him, you don't take my husband without me. You don't do that. Please don't do that. Because of the emotional connection. And that codependency is the one that is scary, but it is also the one that carries you. Because that is where you pull your strength from. That is what gives you the energy and the courage to show up again tomorrow, to be there again tomorrow, and to do it all again tomorrow.
Sure. That is just remarkable. The way you are describing your relationship with your husband, it's so full of love.
Absolutely.
And it is really beautiful to see that.
Thank
And
you.
describing your dark hole that you were in and how you never gave up because you couldn't give up because what about him? That is really beautiful. That's really beautiful to witness that kind of love. So
Thank you.
from the outside, people may have thought you had it all together. But
Absolutely.
what was happening on the inside? Were there signs of burnout that you ignored?
As I say, I'm a very, very passionate person. I get excited about the smallest thing and the biggest thing and everything in between. If you like, my grandchild would bring me a little flower, which is actually a weed, but he doesn't know the difference. And that was so special. I actually put it in my Bible. That is how special it is to me. So I do get excited about everything. So when you're in that stage of burnout, you still have to function, but you do not always have the luxury of, how can I say, pulling back, switching off, not being present, And what happened there was that systematically over time and over long periods of time, I started to lose my interest in life. I lost my interest in my work. My work still went out. Don't get me wrong. This work still got done. It still went out. But I didn't have that passion, that absolute fire in my gut.
Mm.
And then I started noticing that I was starting to lose that connection with people, not just the job, with actual, real, living people.
Mm.
And things that used to trigger me before, that would make me very sad or very happy, I got emotionally cut off, totally. To an extent where my husband actually said to me, listen, you're taking leave now. Whether you want to or not, you're taking leave. And we went away on leave and I came back. And when I came back and I saw all the work waiting for me and all the irate clients and people demanding my job, and I just realized that I was not feeling. I felt nothing. And that spiraled into a black hole where I was totally, totally detached from the world. Totally. And I was sitting with my daughter-in-law the one day, and she said to me, what is happening to you? What's happening to your face? What's happening to you? Are you getting a stroke or what? And my whole face started twitching.
Oh, my word.
Because I was in a panic attack that whole day. And my body resisted that. It started resisting. And I went into a deep hole. Everybody was thinking I was having a stroke, rushed me to the doctor. The doctor said, no, you're actually in a major panic attack. Pumped me full of pills and brills and everything, which got me calmed down. But they also said to me, you can't go back to work. I said, like, no way. You don't understand. I have to go back to work. I just come back from 2 weeks leave. I can't not go to work, And they actually booked me off for 2 weeks, another 2 weeks, which means my work spiraled. Getting me back into work, I was still in the spiral of going down. And that was a systematic, conscious decision on my side to move back to God, closer to Him. Because honestly, and I'm not proud of this, but I even felt detached from Him. I felt nothing to the world, nothing. And obviously the pills didn't help. It makes you even more lethargic, like disassociated. And I started with my morning routine of speaking to God, my gratitude. And then I started finding gratitude in small things like a sunrise, because I leave work in the dark. So I come home in the dark. So seeing the sunrise, seeing the sunset, little flower, to a place where I actually now go for coffee with my daughter-in-law and bring the grandchildren over and paint with my granddaughter. And, just like have that interaction which I lost. Thank goodness not for a long time. And thank the Lord that He was there for me and He picked me up. Piece by piece, He picked me up. He put me back together. And that is where I relate so much to Martha as well. Like, it feels like you're doing all the work and everybody's sitting around watching you. Whether that is your perception or whether that is the truth, that is irrelevant. That is your reality at that moment in time. I was very getting disgruntled with the world. Like, why do I have to do all the work? Oh, you're not doing anything, and getting back out of that was a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of prayer and being on my knees. But I came back with vengeance.
That is so amazing, how you can relate to Martha.
Yes.
Because as we read in the beginning, Martha was quite frustrated because why is everybody sitting and she's doing all the work, and you resonated with that completely.
Absolutely.
Up to a point where you actually had burnout.
Yes.
But I love what you said. You said that you pulled back to God again. Little by little, with those gratitudes, came back and back. And I think that is our saving grace. When you are in that big hole where you can't see anything and you just start seeing those small glimpses, and that gratitude surfacing back again, you can literally open your heart again for God, because He never leaves you. but you open your heart again for him to come in and just lift you up again.
And finding signs of him in your life.
Mm.
As I was speaking to my husband before the school, I said to him, you know what, I had this client, I know he's difficult. I saw his number come up on my screen. I go like, okay, change your vibe, Wanda, change your vibe. This happened this morning. This is how real it is. It happened today. And I go like, change your vibe, guys. Greeted him, like, how are you? I'm so happy it's going well with you, And he just started laughing. He was ready to take me out at the knees, and he started laughing. And to do that turnaround, where previously I would literally go for the polls that was in my handbag, my backup. And this is in a space of 3 months.
Wow.
3 months, literally, going from grabbing a poll to having a very pleasant conversation with the same person, but it does take faith. You have to embody your faith. You can't just say, and I did this. This is why I know I can speak about this. So that I said I had faith. I was trying to convince myself I had faith. But until that faith comes into your body, it's words. It's not real. You have to have it in your body to have that experience. And that was something that I had to learn the hard way. 2 burnouts, 20 years apart, but what I'm saying is I had to learn this the hard way. And sometimes God just pulls you back to remind you of that anointing that he gave you 10 years ago or 20 years ago. Come back to me, come listen to me, put me in your heart, not just in your mouth, put me in your heart. And that was a big revelation to me.
That is quite a turning point that you've just described there. So Martha had to learn that being with Jesus was more important than proving herself through service. And that's exactly what you've just explained. Was there a moment when you realized something had to change?
Yes. That moment, I sat in my doctor's office alone with my doctor, and she said to me, Wanda, don't you dare allow yourself to get to this point ever again. And I realized this is in my hands, not my hands alone, God's hands. But there's always help to be found. There is going to be a friend, there's going to be a community, there's going to be a pastor, there is somebody who's going to be there for you. But you also have to take the action and go and look for that. And that was a turning point where I knew that I could not do this alone anymore. I need help. I need help from above. I need help from my peers. I need help around me. But she looked me in the eye and she said, don't you dare get to this point again. And that was a wake-up call. Not my family, not my friends, not my pastor, my doctor.
I think you also realized the reality at that point.
Yeah.
Of what she's actually saying to you.
Absolutely. Because, that feeling that I had that day with that major panic attack could just as easily have been a stroke.
Yeah.
It could have been a heart attack coming on. Because what I experienced was real. It was in my body. My body was resisting. And that is the scary part. I always pray that God doesn't take my husband. But what if he takes me? Who is that going to leave everybody? And I'm not saying that because I think I'm better than everybody or I'm providing for anybody. Please don't get me wrong. But I have had loss in my life, a lot of losses. And I know what it did to me emotionally. I don't want to be the reason somebody else feel like that.
Sure.
Not me. I'm not going to do it.
Sure, Wanda, that's very big.
and actually, I didn't prepare for this interview at all. It is coming straight from my heart and straight from God and straight from the Holy Ghost. It's not me speaking here.
That is profound, that you don't want other people to feel the same way. Many women struggle to rest without feeling guilty. What did learning healthy boundaries look like for you? Was it easy? And how did you overcome guilt if you felt guilty?
Yes, that one is a difficult one. And honestly, I still have my moments where I feel guilty if I take that time out for myself, but I also learn to carve out those times. Um, and just to give you a simple example, I'm the person who's up every morning, first in the household. I never get to lie in. My days are full, you know. And what happened was, at one stage, it's just the way your internal clock runs. Okay. So my husband used to wake up on the weekend before me. And then he's the person that gets out of bed and just keep going. So he would start speaking to me. I'm like, no, I'm not awake. And my best friend said to me last night, you remember go camping with me? And the first thing I said to her is, don't speak to me before my eyes are properly open. You know? So what happened was there was adjustment in our marriage, and I speak about it openly. You can ask him behind my back. He knows I'm going to skinner about him. Is that he then now gets up on a weekend and he lets me go when he knows I don't have something on. If he knows that there's no uh, I don't need to be in town by 8 o'clock, or there's not a call at 9 o'clock, or whatever the case may be. And I do have the gap. He does let me rest. And I appreciate that so much. And I used to wake up at 8 o'clock on a Saturday or Sunday and jump out of bed and go like, oh shit, I still have to do this. Now I get up and go, you know what? If it runs late, if I don't get to do XYZ on that time, if the lunch is not on the table by 1 o'clock, who cares? Then we eat 2 o'clock. If I don't get to the petrol station by 3 o'clock, I will go 4 o'clock. Nothing rushes me on those days. Except for appointments, except for time periods, like when I have training or have to go to the hairdresser or whatever the case may be. I don't get rushed about that. And even if I run late, because I speak to my mom every weekend, if I run late, I will send a message and say, sorry, I'm lying in today. I will give you a call tonight. That kind of thing. But yeah, I just refuse to feel guilty about that. Because I used to feel like I don't have enough time. I have to do more. I have to put in more hours, whether it's work, digital marketing, online business, in my marriage, in my time. And now I schedule out the times. This is when I work. This is when I do my business. This is when I'm back at work. This is why I have date nights with my husband, because that is our time. Um, and for example, date nights. Date nights doesn't have to be huge and go and eat out and have a party or whatever. No, sit and watch TV, because I never watch TV. That to me that is special. Or we have a nice cup of coffee, or we go to the beach and just walk on the sand. Very simple things. It's not huge things, but it's our time. It's our time. Yeah. So that is part of the healing process after you spiral and have burnout, is to be present in the moment. When I'm in the work, I'm present in my work. I hardly ever am on WhatsApp or Facebook or on the phone with my family and friends, like really hardly. Like my husband said to me tonight when I walked in, we are having a major audit at our office today. He says, and now I understand why you only responded to my WhatsApp 2 hours late. I'm like, sorry, it's just I'm in that moment. And if I'm in that moment with my family, with my grandchildren, going for coffee or whatever the case may be, I'm in that moment. And I had to work hard, but I'm also very proud of the fact that in that space, whether it's an hour, half an hour, whatever, I do not think about anything else except that space that I'm in. I do not think about work. I don't think about that client. I don't think about the next meeting. I'm in that space. And that just comes by way of repetition, 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 conditioning your thinking, being in the moment. Like if that thoughts come in, when that worry come in, I go like, no, not now. Wait your turn. You know, and that worked for me. That did.
And that is so important. It's so important to
Yeah.
be present in the presence when you are with whatever you're busy doing.
Yes.
That's very, very, very important. Thank you for sharing that. Um, let's talk about a little bit. How did your relationship with God change through the seasons?
A lot. Really a lot. Um, I was thinking about this the other day. You know, I grew up in a very strict religious family. And when I say this, I'm not talking about going to morning prayers or having fasting or anything like that. But you did go to school, you did go to Sunday school, that kind of thing. You didn't venture outside the faith. You know, being Afrikaner, you kind of have to go to one denomination.
Mm.
Um, and I still love my church. Don't get me wrong, not at all. But I did get a sense of, or I did get a message, let me write it that way, that if you do wrong, you're going to be punished.
Mm.
And actually, in my early 20s, I challenged the pastor one day and I said to him, you know what? He was talking to me about why I'm not going to church. I said to him, I'll come to church on Sunday just to prove two things. Number one, you don't talk to me about preaching overseas, whatever you want to do. Number two, you tell me God loves me. And if you don't do that, I'm going to get up in your service, I'm going to walk out. And I did. I did walk
Wow.
out. And this was a very, very small town that I lived in. So, you know, I had the whole town coming down on me. How can you walk out of a church service? How dare you walk out of a church service? But I did. And that took me that kind of put me into like, why do I have to believe if I'm going to be punished in any case? You know, that then took me on a circle. I went to different denominations, tried the different services, different cultures, different all of those, you know, the real exploring in your 20s kind of thing. Okay. Then he took away a lot of people that I loved. He took away my grandfather on the one side of the family, then he took away my grandmother, he took away my godmother, which didn't actually really help the situation very much in my perspective. Do realize I'm speaking about my perspective, not a judgment. It's my perspective. Um, and I moved away. Then I had a crisis in my life. And I moved back. You know that thing of you pray when you're in a crisis kind of thing, and you spiral in and out and in and out and in and out. I was kind of in an inward spiral at that stage when my father passed away. I have to realize my father was my hero. I was his blue-eyed girl. Nothing came between me and my dad. Nothing. Yeah, I just could not do wrong in his eyes, and he couldn't do wrong in my eyes. Okay. So when he passed away, it became so bad. My resistance to religion and God and everything was so bad that my husband actually said to me, I'm going to divorce you.
Oh.
That's how bad it was at that stage. Which is making me very teary now. but I just want to give you a perspective. That is how far removed I was from God. And soon afterwards, my husband lost his business. We did stay together, by the way. We did stay together. We worked through this. He lost his business. We had to move town. I came to Cape Town. He came 2 years later. We were still married, still very much in love. Don't get me wrong, that part never actually changed right through all the years that we've been together. But I went on that spiral again of searching,
Mm.
searching spirituality, not religion, spirituality. And that slowly brought me back to God. I started listening to motivational speakers, upliftment, and I found peace with a lot of preachers, overseas preachers like Joel Osteen, Joyce Meyer, Terry Savelle Foy, those kind of people. And I realized that God is not a God of judgment. But I had to work this out for myself. It took me a 4-year process to work this out and really embody Christianity again into my life. Not that I rejected it fully. I never rejected it fully, but I did question it.
Mm.
And I had to accept that back into my life. And not just on spiraling came afterwards. The depression came afterwards. In that 4 years preceding that, I found my way back to God. It was difficult. And I had to learn the hard way. Well, not the hard way, but a lot of searching inside of myself that my God actually forgives me. He doesn't judge your past. He doesn't judge the words you uttered to your parents when you were a teenager. He doesn't judge the time you were misled with your friend, or you did somebody wrong knowingly or unknowingly. And I carried a lot of guilt from my childhood, that everything was always my fault. Everything I went wrong, because I'm the eldest child, you have to take care of everybody. Everything was always your fault. And I was like, why must I be judged? I'm just human. Why must I be judged? And to find that God actually forgives all your sins. He doesn't hold your past against you.
Mm.
That was huge. That was huge when I realized he can. You read in the Bible, he says he forgives the guy that was on the cross next to him, who was a murderer. I think, yeah, what? That's a story. He actually forgave him. He forgave that person that was in prison with the tattoos and who sold drugs to somebody. He forgave that person. He forgave me for those bad words I uttered when I was a teenager. He forgave me for questioning Christianity. He forgave me for my spiritual journey. And he rejoices in the fact that I turned back.
Oh, yes.
And that was a huge thing to accept. But once you accept it, you embody it, it changes your life.
Mm.
And I'm not talking about lightning, hitting soul and becoming pole and all of that kind of thing. I'm not talking about that now, lightning. I'm not talking about the change where the lady with the issue of blood touched Jesus' robe, because I've also been through that. It's not that lightning strike. It's that knowledge that you just, I'm okay. I'm okay. God loves me. I'm okay. As I am. And that was huge. That was huge. To wake up one morning and have that realization.
Mm. That he actually installed that in you while you were sleeping, to wake
Yeah,
up like that, feeling like that. There's one thing that I've learned with all these interviews I'm having is the more and more I'm listening to stories, is the more and more I realize we
you
serve
do.
such a gentle God, because He knows everybody's personality. He knows who needs what at what time. And He knew exactly what Wanda needed to get back to Him. Thank you for sharing with
Absolutely.
us, Wanda. It's not always easy to talk about these things, but thank you very much for sharing it with us. I appreciate it. There are women watching today who are exhausted. They keep saying, I'll rest when everything is finished. What would you say to that woman today?
Don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait until your body crashes. Don't wait for that panic attack. Don't wait for the next flu to come around to push you into bed. Because you know what? Today is going to pass. Next week is going to pass. Next year is going to pass. And if you take an hour out now for a nap, or to rest, or to read a book, or to paint a painting, or just to do arts and craft, or whatever it is you do to relax and bring yourself back to you, do it. Schedule the time. Make a date with yourself. and I'm being serious when I say this. I myself have done this. I got to a point where I'm like, I just can't do this anymore. And I take a Saturday night out. I schedule 2 hours and I do my arts and crafts and I do my paintings and I do my journaling or whatever. But I don't do it deep. This is the thing that you have to realize. Taking time out to meditate, taking time out to spend with God is different to taking time out to yourself. Yes, God is with you. He carries you through that hour. But you need that time to feed that thing in your soul that God placed in your soul. For me, it's art. God placed art in my. So I'm not saying God is not with me when I'm doing my art. Don't get me wrong, He's with me all the time. But He placed art in my life many, many years ago when I was 4 years old. He placed it in my heart. So when I take that hour or two to do my art and crafts, I focus on my art and craft. That is my feed. I know some people, a lot of people, extroverts especially, feed on people. They go out and they have coffee with a friend, or they go and chat with some girlfriends at the park, or whatever the case may be. That is how they get their energy back. That is how they feed their soul. I feel mine by that quiet time. Not reading a book, not becoming intellectual, not studying the Bible, not meditating, nothing on that scope. Just something that doesn't even require your brain to work. It doesn't require bodily input like going to the gym. That is hell no. That doesn't count. Okay, leave that one alone. That doesn't count. But spending that time, even if you go for a walk in the park, pet your dog, just do that one thing that God put in your heart, because you would know what your thing is that God placed in your heart to recharge you. And if that is a walk with your dog around the block, do it. Take that time. Because remember, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
You can't give to your family. You can't give to your job. You can't give to your business if your cup is empty. You have to replenish that. And that is one part of it. The second part is worship. This is where this is important to have worship in you. So I'm not saying everybody must believe in God. Everybody has their own religion, their own spirituality. But whatever it is that it is for you, whether it is the universe, spirit, God, take the time out and pay gratitude and be humble towards that which is important to you, that feeds your spirituality. Whether it is praise and worship, whether it is doing your gratitude journal, whatever that may be. Those are the two things that feed your soul, that put you back and fills your cup. The one that God placed in your heart, and the one where you spend time with Him.
You know, as I'm listening to you, Wanda, and hearing where you come from, where you had the burnout and everything, it comes to my mind that you are currently living such a balanced life. That is what I'm hearing. That you are literally, you are balancing. There's a healthy balance in your lifestyle, and you made a conscious decision to impart that into your life. So I'm really proud of you. Well done. Most of us are lacking that, where we are not balancing our lives. And then you start pouring from an empty cup, and then that just have a massive spiral effect of its own.
It
So,
does.
yeah, so I absolutely hear balancing. There's balancing in Vanda's life at the moment. I admire people that can do art because I can only draw a stick mannequin. That's it, and that doesn't even look good. So I really admire people who can do art. But a couple of quick questions.
Ooh,
Coffee or tea?
water,
Okay. Morning or evening?
evening,
Favorite place to rest?
the beach,
I like that. Favorite Bible verse?
Habakkuk 2 verse 2. Write the vision and make it clear.
Sure. Beautiful. One thing you do just for yourself.
Art,
One word that describes this season that you're in.
breath.
Complete the sentence. One decision changed my life because
I have found myself.
rest is
Sleep. I think
success.
every working woman has that on the list.
Success is
Health.
today I choose.
Me.
I want every woman watching to know.
You are beautiful just the way you are.
Thank you, Wanda. This is really, really remarkable to interview you. In
Thank you.
closure, I just want to say thank you for sharing your heart with us. We really
It's
do
a pleasure.
appreciate you. Martha reminds us that our value doesn't come from how much we achieve, it comes from whose we are. Today's conversation is an invitation to slow down, to breathe, to sit at the feet of Jesus before running to the next task. Maybe you've been measuring your worth by productivity. Today, choose something different. Choose presence over pressure. Choose peace over perfection. Because you are a person before you are a producer. But I would like to just pray that following prayer over you. Thank you for the example of Martha. Thank you that you don't measure us by our to-do list, but by our relationship with you, God. For every woman who feels exhausted, overwhelmed, or burdened, let today bring peace into her heart. Teach her that rest is not weakness. It is an act of trust. Help us to choose your presence before our performance. In Jesus' name, amen. I want to just say thank you very much again, Wanda, for sharing your story to God's glory with us. I appreciate you. I am so honored to hear your story and to see your comeback, to see the woman that you are becoming, to see the balance, to hear that you are still so in love with your husband and your date nights. So that is really, really precious for me. And the way that you could express yourself in this interview, your feelings towards God at a stage of your life that you just didn't know where to go to. But once again, God never left you. And you moved back into his arms, and he just gracefully opened his arms. I can just see it. He just stood there and he just put his arms around you and say, Vandaki, welcome home, my child. You're my daughter, and I will never leave you nor forsake you. So, Wanda, thank you very much for sharing.
Pleasure.
I absolutely appreciate you as a person. And once again, happy birthday for yesterday.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
and may this year just be one of the best years ever. May God bless you out of your socks and give you everything your heart's desire. Keep your family safe and have beautiful, beautiful moments to build memories with each and every one of them.
Thank you
On that
so
note,
much, Anja.
I just want to say
And thank
thank
you
you.
for what you're doing. I really, really appreciate you. And thank you for having me. It's actually quite a big honor to be asked. Thank you. I am a little bit overwhelmed by the the faith you put in me. Um, and I hope this inspires somebody because we are all beautiful children of God. He loves us all. And if that is the only thing I can tell the ladies out there is God does love you. No matter your past, no matter what you're thinking, He knows your heart and He loves you. He loves you, whatever you do or think or say. He loves you.
Amen.
And let's carry forward through this month. I'm very excited for each and every lady that you're interviewing. Thank you for everything you do, and Anja, and thanks for this opportunity.
Thank you, everybody. That is the end of episode 5. Tomorrow we are back with episode 6. Don't miss it. And have a good evening.